Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Mary Gardner with Lap of Love, and I am here to talk about hearing loss. Hi, everybody. Again, this is Dr. Mary Gardner with Lap of Love, and this Facebook Live is to talk about hearing loss in our pets. And I love this topic because so many people say that they think their pet is selectively hearing as they get older. And I might agree with some cats. I think they sometimes, my cats at least, I think sometimes hear me, but just don't want to listen to me. I want to talk about why some pets may get hearing loss, and also what the most common hearing loss as pets get older. So some of the causes of hearing loss in pets are tumors. So there could be some kind of tumor that is in their ear canal that disrupts the sound waves coming through. They may have a really bad skin or ear infection. And so I've seen this where pets may have such a bad infection that there's so much goop and gunk that or even destroys the eardrum. So that could be a cause of some hearing loss. Foreign objects. So if you wonder where the Lego went, it might be in the ear. And then also maybe the old age hearing loss that I want to talk about. So as pets get older, there is a problem called old age hearing loss. Now, the interesting thing is that we as humans also get this. So if you've ever noticed that as some people get older, they may not be able to hear well. And there's a technical word for this, and it's called presbycusis, and it's old age hearing loss. And it usually happens within the last third of a pet's lifespan. So let's say if the average pet lives about 12 years, okay, so it's usually the last 4 years of their life that we might start to see this hearing loss. And it may start out mild, and it could eventually lead to total deafness. There's certain frequencies that are going to be affected first, and then again, long term, it could lead to total deafness. So that's why you may have a pet, maybe you have a dog that can't hear certain things, but if you clap your hands or your whistle, that frequency is actually something that they could pick up and hear. So it can start out super mild. But some signs to look for if your pet does have hearing loss is maybe they're sleeping more. All right, maybe they just don't wake to normal sounds like they used to wake, but maybe they wake up to more aggressive sounds like the doorbell or something like that. A really interesting sign to look out for is that they get startled basically when you touch them, right? So if you see your pet and they're sleeping and you just go to touch them and they're startled, maybe that's because they didn't even hear you coming. So failure to respond to normal cues if you're calling for them and they're just tooling around outside and not coming to you when you're calling for them. Maybe confused or disoriented. So you could see them just kind of not really engaging because they just don't hear. And you add this to other loss of senses. So if they're starting to have a decrease of vision, I talked about vision loss before, maybe even some decrease of smelling. And so some of their natural senses they're starting to lose all at once can become even more of an issue. Another thing is excessive barking. They just don't hear anything and they're starting to bark more. And maybe even some increased anxiety. So if they can't hear, they might get anxious. So it's just something to think about that we start seeing these signs to maybe have your pet's hearing evaluated, and definitely go to your veterinarian first to see if there is any ear infections or tumors, because they can look in the ear a lot better than you guys can. So there could be, I just saw somebody wrote a comment. They saw a tick that the owner got. I don't even want to think about it. Nasty tick inside the ear canal. Josh. Lots of stuff gets stuck in the ear canal, right? So have your vet. They've got otoscopes and some fancy tools that can look down the ear canal to make sure that there's no foreign object or tumor or really bad ear infection, and they can evaluate the eardrum. And then it might just be old age hearing loss. Now, something I want to think about, and what can you do for it? Actually, there's not much that you could do for it, and that's okay. But it's really about changing maybe some habits. And just along with vision, I really am very careful with dogs and cats that can't hear either, because they may get disoriented. They may get stuck in certain places. But the biggest thing is that they don't know you're coming. And so they may get that startled. So even if, let's say, your dog's not sleeping, but they're resting comfortably, and maybe your toddler comes up to that wonderful golden retriever that would never hurt a fly, and they pet, and the toddler pets them or leans against them, and that startles them. And they're also pain and sensitive because of arthritis. So, things adding on, they might get a little snippy. So I really want everybody to be careful with their dogs or cats that can't hear well. And so also, if your dog is getting, or cat is getting, a little bit anxious because of this, we may be able to use some pheromone sprays or some other items that we use with the anxiety to help them out. But something interesting I want to talk about is the opposite of hearing loss, and that is hypersensitivity. So noise hypersensitivity. And there's been a study out there that they were looking at dogs that where they evaluated that dogs that are more hypersensitive to certain noises also had, and these are older dogs, more arthritis or pain. So what had happened was that, let's say, for example, your dog has got really bad hips, okay? And in the house, somebody slams a cabinet door. And so that makes them startle, right? I would startle too. Well, that clenching of all their muscles actually then hurts them because they've got some hip problems or whatever that may be. And now they're associating that, now Josh, I thought he said tick, and it's a different thing. So that's much better because you grossed me out. So if they are associated that noise with that pain, the next time they hear that noise or something very similar, they're going to get a little bit spooked by it. And so now there's something called the noise hypersensitivity, where it's just this association. So you may have to be careful about some things that actually they're more sensitive to. So whether it's the doorbell, whether it's maybe doors slamming. And so there might be, I've got on my Amazon page those little felt things that you can put on the bottom of chairs. So if there's a chair that when you pull it out, it scrapes. If you've got the doors that slam, there's those little plastic clear bubbles things that you can stick to your doors so that way they don't slam. So things that you just watch your pet getting sensitive to, maybe just be a little bit more cognizant of that to help them out. There's some great comments. I love it. Dr. Payne, thank you. She says you can also wake them up safely by putting a treat near their nose, which is awesome. And that's so true, right? So an easy way just to, because usually their nose is still working pretty good. I know I talked about noses the last time, but that goes along with blindness too. So if they can't see, using a treat or something that they find yummy to wake up to is really good. So, there's, again, not much that we can do for this. So I want just to be aware of it and know that safety is super important. Also, leash walking only. I don't care how great and well-trained your dog is, but if they start to have hearing loss, they may not hear the sounds of, children or other dogs or cars or something like that. So definitely make sure that you keep them safe. And then if there's others in the home, to make sure that they're aware of this issue, have a group discussion, a family discussion about how best to wake up or approach your pet that's got hearing loss. So for the quiz, again, what's the word for hearing loss? It's presbycusis. So now you can go and sound super smart with some people when you say, I know the word for hearing loss. So if any of you have some home hacks, like Dr. Payne says, and want to share some of your ideas that you've used with some of your deaf pets. And also there's awesome Facebook groups out there for almost all ailments. And so you can find a group on deaf pets that may also have some support and some ideas and tips like that. So I am open to ideas for my next Facebook Live. So please don't be shy and recommend any topics you'd like me to cover. And if I feel comfortable that I know what the heck I'm talking about, I will do so. Until then, love up on your gray muzzles. Bye.